Hello everyone, welcome back to Beekeeper's Picnic. The other game that I wanted to play has failed me, so it's gonna be the Beekeeper's Picnic for a little while. Let's go from left to right, I suppose. Mrs. Whitlock.
Mrs. Fanny Whitlock, head of the local Women's Institute. She is absorbed in managing the village fete competition.
Can we take part in the competition? What do we do?
So good to see our local celebrity here in the village.
What is the prize?
What is the prize?
Each winner will receive a quite delightful picnic hamper filled with fresh produce.
That's what we need.
A picnic hamper, you say?
And what are the
What are
categories?
the categories for entry to the competition?
Largest vegetable in the category of potatoes, beetroots, carrots and rhubarb. Best rose, best flowering potted plant, best cake, including a separate subcategory for Victoria sponges, best jam or fruit preserve, and best honey.
Best honey. I bet that we can do that.
I see that.
Only fresh, homegrown produce are allowed. Beetroots and carrots should have foliage trimmed back to 3 inches. Peas and beans to be displayed with stalks still attached. Victoria sponges dusted with icing sugar will be disqualified.
Thank you. How do I enter?
Simply give me any items you wish to exhibit. I will display them here, and the judge will be around later today to award prizes.
So I need to get some
Goodbye, Mrs. Whitlock.
honey
Goodbye.
somehow. I need to find the jar. Oh, Violet's house. Hello, Violet Hunter. Let me check. Oh,
I first encountered Miss Violet Hunter when she was a young woman, seeking help concerning a governess position which paid well. Far too well. In the years since then, her career has flourished. She's been headmistress at a series of schools, each time leaving them better than she found them. I was quite delighted to find that she also has a house here in Fulworth.
oh, what? Yes, Mrs. Whitlock. What about her?
As head of the local Women's Institute, Mrs. Whitlock is the closest thing Fulworth has to a civic leader. She is widowed and does not seem in any hurry to marry again.
Butterflies.
Some pupating caterpillars and newly emerged butterflies.
Do you have to do anything with them?
Use it how precisely?
I have no idea. Some teddy bears.
A well-loved old bear with traces of honey on his paws. Well, most of the rest of him, in fact.
Can I take it?
No, I believe he will find his own way round if he wishes to.
We don't play the piano. We ignore the books, we ignore the painting, we ignore the window, we ignore the flowers, we don't ignore the photograph. Tilda's father? Tilda? Who's Tilda?
I wonder how old she is here. 3 or 4? I did not meet her until she was 5, when she came to live with Violet after she was orphaned.
Is she a niece?
A bright, cheery face. Her complexion suggests she enjoyed spending time outside, as her daughter does. I gather she did not share her sister's intelligence, but she was a hard worker. She had likely never had a serious illness her whole life before the Spanish flu which took her life.
Yes, so it seems like Tilda is Violet's niece, and we have a father as well.
A soldier, an officer in fact. The uniform looks very new. He had not seen any action when this photograph was taken. Everything from the style of his moustache to his neatly trimmed nails suggests to me that he did not work a manual job in civilian life. So many promising young men shared his fate. It all felt quite distant to me. I was ensconced in undercover work, so I did not see the fighting. Watson, however, an army medic. The terrible thing is that I know Watson would have traded his life in an instant for any one of those young men.
So the father had died as well, but how is that important fact? Why is that an important fact? Let's speak with Violet. Maybe let's first observe her.
She is a handsome middle-aged woman whose round, freckled face retains the brightness of youth. Her eyes speak of a quiet, understated intelligence. She wears a slightly severe pinstripe jacket and skirt. Miss Hunter? How are you, Miss Hunter?
I'm well, Mr. Holmes. Catching up on all the little jobs which I'm not able to undertake during term time.
The new school in Chichester is proving to be all-absorbing, then.
Rather. I'm afraid the last head did not run a tight ship. I've no wonder they had to call me in. The girls are all little monsters, and the mistresses not much better.
Sounds ghastly.
Don't mistake me. I'm rather enjoying the challenge. For the next 4 weeks, however, I will relish spending time by myself.
What are you sewing?
A new walking dress. What do you think of the colour? I was always told that redheads should not wear red, and so I try to do so as often as possible.
She's adorable. I like it very much.
I am no expert in ladies' fashion, but it is very cheerful. You would not rather have a seamstress make it for you?
Oh, no. I enjoy making clothes. I find it relaxing. In fact, you should let me make you something. All I would ask is that you bring me the material you want to use. As a spinster, I don't get the opportunity to make men's clothing. I did try once, for a neighbour. Unfortunately, he misunderstood my offer for, well, a romantic overture. Poor fellow. I had to let him down gently.
You know that Watson was quite convinced that I was holding a candle for you when we first met.
No. Surely not. How funny.
She is so adorable. Miss Tilda has been helping me with the bees. I didn't know that.
Miss Tilda has been helping me with the bees?
I know. She reports back to me all their antics. Thank you so much for how good you are with her, Mr. Holmes. It means a lot to a child when an adult takes them seriously, I think.
Did I ask you how she is?
How are you, Miss Hunter?
I'm well, Mr. Holmes.
Oh, yes, I
Catching
did.
up on...
The new school...
Miss Hunter, can you tell me more about Tilda's mother? Why would I want to know that?
Miss Hunter, can you tell me more about Tilda's mother and father?
I suppose so. What do you want to know?
I don't quite know. What happened to your sister's husband?
What happened to your sister's husband?
He was killed in action. We received a telegram.
What was your sister's husband like?
He was the genuine life and soul of every party he ever attended. Such a happy, vivacious soul. When he used to visit on leave from the army, I could see it was beginning to change him. Then again, it changed us all, didn't it?
What was your sister like?
Oh, she was wonderful, Mr. Holmes. She could make me laugh for hours and hours. She struggled terribly at school with her reading and writing, even though she was very intelligent. It left her with few options for earning a living after our parents died. You will recall, I was very desperate for a good salary when we first met. It was in the knowledge that I had to support her.
How did your sister die?
It was a fever, Mr. Holmes. She was always such a strong, healthy person, but it took her very quickly. It may sound overly dramatic, but I believe that her heart was broken.
Thank you. I have no more questions. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Mr. Holmes.
Interesting. How is it all important? Maybe I haven't found the reasons for that to be important yet. Then here we have... I need to find a way to get my honey. To find a jar or something. Coconuts. What do we have here?
A coconut shy. Hitting one of the coconuts with a ball permits you to keep it.
I think when you take part in this, how do we do it? Oh,
I'm afraid my eyesight is very poor these days.
so I don't do it myself? He does it himself, and he didn't do a good job. Cannot speak with you, my friend. Don't know who you are. But I know these three, Hans, Philip, and Mr. Manders. Who do I speak with?
A long-time resident of the village. I believe he's some kind of writer, although I observe some signs that he spent time in prison in his youth. One of my neighbours, a dapper gentleman in his 40s. A gentleman who is fond of cats and enjoys attending concerts. I believe he lives in the village. I'd better not. He always gets very anxious when I try to speak to him.
Oh,
Good morning, Mr. Holmes. You know, I've been reading the stories about you ever since I was a child. I enjoy them just as much today as I did back then.
oh, so Sherlock is quite old here. He could be in his 70s. No, this man is in his 40s, and he was a child when he was... Actually, Sherlock would be in his 70s, maybe even 80s, because he had to earn that kind of recognition to become a story, right?
Oh, that is very gratifying. Thank you.
That makes sense that he wanted to retire.
Good morning, Mr. Holmes.
Good morning.
Lovely weather, isn't it? I was worried we might have rain.
Small talk, wonderful. Lillian and not interruptible children.
She looks like an interesting young lady.
Do we know her? Sanjay, Stockhurst, Mrs. Kumar, Martha, Mycroft. No, we don't have Lillian. Any of those three gentlemen, so let's speak with her.
Hello, mister. Do you like my hair ribbons? I think they're really special.
Indeed. They are very charming.
Ruffles.
It is not part of the costume. Underneath the eye patch is pancake makeup. I see scar tissue.
That is important somehow.
A military-style moustache, as was mandatory for soldiers at the beginning of the war. Masks began to be worn to protect against gas, so the regulation moustache, part of British warfare for 100 years, was lost.
Why moustache was important?
This man fought in the war, and he carries this habitual remnant of that life. However, he was invalided out before the moustaches fell out of favour.
Is there anything else about him? Doesn't seem so. That's all. Only 2 clues, and they're very important somehow. Alright, well, I've got everything that I could get from this place. I need to find a jar for my honey. To win the competition. So we are here. There are cottages. There's a beach. Let's see, what is the Gables? Oh, Tilda has a jam jar.
Miss Tilda, my young neighbour.
Looking very happy.
Her flower crown is made from the yellow yarrow which grows to the north of my cottage.
Here,
Her hair is untied and unbrushed.
she's having good time then.
The stains on her dress are characteristic of the meadow to the north of my cottage. The dirt under the fingernails suggests she has been digging. There are no calluses of the kind I would associate with daily piano practice.
But none of those clues are important clues. There are butterflies here. There's a little bit of pond, and we have a jam jar. I need to get it. Can I just take it?
Please don't take that, Mr. Holmes. I need it to catch my newts.
Of course, I understand.
I do know why I have this honey, so I don't need to ask that. May I have that jam jar?
May I have that jam jar?
I'm sorry, Mr. Holmes.
I need the jam jar. It's very, very important. When I catch a newt, I need to put it in there so I can take it home to the tank where it's going to live.
Oh, right, she lives with her aunt, and those butterflies are yours.
I see. That is important. I would not want to deprive you of your newt. If I were to find you some kind of specimen of natural history which is more interesting than a newt, would you surrender the jam jar to me?
Better than a newt? That sounds very tricky.
I enjoy a challenge.
You're on.
I see you spent the morning in the North Meadow.
Yes, I made a flower crown, and there's a badger set there. I want to go back after dark and wait to see them come out. But Auntie won't let me on my own.
Perhaps you would permit me to take you, if you do not object to the presence of an old man who's not quite as adept at crouching in the dark for hours as he used to be.
Well, that would be wonderful, Mr. Holmes. Mr. Holmes?
Yes, Miss Tilda.
Are you magic?
No. As I think we have discussed before, I simply make deductions based on observations.
I don't know. I still think you might be magic.
Why are we so concerned about your parents?
Tilda, do you remember your parents?
Not much. I was little when they died.
Yes, I quite understand.
Are you an orphan like me, Mr. Holmes?
In a sense, my parents have both died.
So don't you have any family at all?
I have an older brother. He lives in London.
I wish I had a big brother.
But Tilda, you have your Aunt Violet. She loves you dearly.
It's not the same as a brother.
It is also possible to make family of your own choosing. Dr. Watson and I are not related by blood, but we have been as close as two people can be for many decades.
Then, may I choose you to be in my family?
You may, if you wish.
That is so sweet. Are we done talking then? Okay. I don't know really what to do. I need to get the jar. Let's go to the Gables. I have no idea what that place is.
Use it how precisely?
Walk there?
An old country seat put to a new purpose. Now it is Harold Stackhurst's well-known coaching establishment. A score of young fellows are there preparing for various professions with a staff of several masters. It will be empty until Michaelmas.
So, what, I cannot just walk there?
I am not shouting at a distant building.
You could try. I don't know. I don't seem to be able to walk there. Let's walk back then. Oh wait, what about that path over there? Cannot walk? Alright. Coming back then. I need to find an interesting specimen for her. A picnic spot. Oh, let's go see cottages. What would be more interesting than a newt? Disturbed ground? Ooh.
Someone has been gardening. The earth is disturbed all along the front of the house.
Maybe burying something like bodies.
No, on multiple counts. Firstly, Mrs. Kumar will not thank me for ruining her flower beds. And secondly, my back will not stand it if I dig a trench all along the front of the house. I must find some way to discover the exact spot where my quarry is buried.
Great, so somehow you know something that was buried there. I don't even know what quarry is.
Mrs. Kumar is washing some sheets. If I were to make a close study of them, I might be able to find out all kinds of details about her personal life. And I believe that would be a waste of time. And Watson would chide me for being rude.
But what is quarry? I know quarry is a place where people mine rocks. But I don't know like how he could bury a quarry there, so I need to look it up. Does he just mean a kind of stone, a rock? We have a gate here, we have a door, and then we have another house, and let's start with the gate.
Alas, it is locked. and my days of scaling gates are behind me.
You should believe in yourself better than you are. Let's come inside. See what this place is. Hello?
What do you want?
I don't know. Who are you?
I thought I would welcome you to the neighborhood. This house has been empty many years, and now it is not. I must assume you've recently moved in.
Excuse me, but I'm very busy.
What a delightful fellow.
I mean, I could understand him. Even though, like, in terms of the game, it sounds rude. What about this door? Elderflower cordial. Yes, I need to get that. Probably first I need to speak with her.
Her hands show that she has worked many menial jobs in the past. However, they are currently well manicured. I'm not an expert in such matters, but I would imagine that such a sumptuous dress is the height of fashion amongst Indian ladies.
Actually, I just remembered something. We have collected some facts. Let's make of use.
That clown's face is familiar to me. Surely it is the man in the photograph. He is Miss Tilda's father.
How did that happen? Didn't expect to find that discovery.
Good day, Mrs. Kumar.
Good morning, Mr. Holmes.
Could I buy some of your excellent elderflower cordial? The one that my friend Dr. Watson enjoys so much.
I'm afraid I'm sold out at the moment, but I'm preparing a fresh batch as we speak. Are you able to come back another time?
I had hoped to have it for a picnic at lunchtime today.
That will be fine. I'm nearly finished. An hour or two, Mr. Holmes. That is all I need.
Very well. Thank you, Mrs. Kumar.
That is perfect indeed.
Is your trade going well? Your fabric shop in Eastbourne, I believe?
Yes, indeed. Business is going well, Mr. Holmes. I think that with the war behind them, many ladies wish to buy the colourful fabrics I have for sale. And how is your work? You are making more of your wonderful honey?
It is the bees who make the honey. I am merely their servant and their student.
You know, my boy Sanjay has very strange ideas about you. He insists you are secretly a detective from a book he's reading.
An imaginative and observant young fellow, it seems. Goodbye, Mrs. Kumar.
Goodbye, Mr. Holmes.
So that was wonderful, actually.
Mrs. Kumar is known for making the best elderflower cordial in Sussex. The only ingredients are the heads of elderflowers, sugar, lemon, and honey. I would humbly argue that the honey is the key to her success. She has an excellent supplier.
You mean yourself? Waste paper basket.
I don't believe I have any rubbish to put in there, do I?
I mean, you could search for some.
Aha, what's this in here? A large amount of coarse fur or hair. I will take a small sample with me.
Mr. Holmes, why did you take that?
Call it scientific curiosity, Mrs. Kumar.
Some fabrics.
A wide variety of fabrics and other dressmaking materials. Mrs. Kumar runs a haberdashery business.
Can I make use of them?
How do I use them? Generally, a sewing machine or needle and thread is required, I believe.
So do we want to buy some then?
Excuse me, Mr. Holmes. If you wish to purchase some cloth, please talk to me.
Of course. My apologies.
Can I, though?
Good day, Mrs. Kumar.
I cannot.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
I will be leaving then. I am really concerned about the disturbed ground. There is something that we need to find, and Sherlock is aware of that, but I'm not. Let's go to the beach. Oh wow! See the mermaid? A real one. PC Weber. Some people. Veronica Anderson. The mermaid? Oh, that is what we will bring to Tilda. Nice. Oh, so many people. and Harold, and some shoes.
Let whoever put them here carry them away. I will not. From the size and style, I would suggest they belong to a boy of around 14 or 15. I expect he's an active fellow who spends many hours running through the muddy fields to the north of the village. Swift of foot, but clumsy with his hands. His lace tying is rather slapdash.
Let's start with Harold.
Harold Stackhurst, the headmaster of the Gables and my immediate neighbour. Affable fellow, we became fast friends when I moved here. He has been carrying that battered newspaper around for a while, looking for a peaceful spot to read it.
Hello, Holmes. Bracing day, isn't it?
What's happening here on the beach?
What's happening here on the beach?
That young lady over there is claiming to have discovered some eighth wonder of the world. A real-life mermaid. Absolute humbug, of course, but she's making a mint out of it. Don't suppose you could see your way to getting rid of her. Jolly unfair, her tricking people out of their money and disturbing the peace.
Don't worry, my friend, I intend to. I wish the view of this beach to be unobstructed. Anything interesting in the newspaper?
I'll say. Did you know there has been a heist over at the British Museum? Listen to this. A number of valuable specimens of taxidermy belonging to the British Museum still remain missing, a week after disappearing during their transfer from Montague House, Bloomsbury, to the new site in South Kensington. Lost treasures include a great many pieces collected by the late Charles Darwin, and the only surviving specimen of the great auk from the British Isles. Director of the museum, William Henry Flower, states that... well, you get the idea.
Indeed I do. I expect that Scotland Yard are having quite the time sorting out the mess.
Do you ever miss being involved in that sort of thing?
Very often.
Yes, sometimes. There were glorious days filled with adventure and excitement, never knowing when the view halloo would sound and we'd be off again. It has taken me some time to adapt to the slower pace of life in retirement.
So, if you were on the case, where would you look to find the stolen animals?
A collection of rare and very distinct specimens of natural history are certainly valuable, but only to a limited and specialist clientele. I expect the thief will have found somewhere to store the collection until the police have lost their scent and they're able to find multiple buyers to ensure the collection is split up.
Would you like to come over for dinner?
Would you like to come over for dinner? You know my friend Watson is staying with me. Drop in on us when you have time, won't you?
Of course, old man. I have a wild idea for an excursion we could undertake next week.
Oh?
The Picture Palace in Eastbourne is showing a film, Trent's Last Case. A mystery. What do you say? Could be a bit of a wheeze, what?
Suppose so. So he is an interesting person.
Watson would appreciate it. And I expect he will urge me to come along as well.
I know you too well, my friend. That is your way of saying that you would like to come just as much.
How is the Gables?
Oh, jolly good. Of course, the boys are all home for the summer at the moment, so it's all planning. I have doubts about the new English master I hired. He's entirely green around the gills. Still, we were all young once, what?
You haven't thought of retiring?
No. I live to teach. Whatever would I do if I retired?
Beekeeping?
Why do you wear a monocle? I've always wondered, since you clearly have perfect eyesight.
I feel it gives me a sense of authority. If you wear a monocle, people assume you must be someone important.
I thought he was a snowboarder, like, someone very unpleasant, but that guy is pretty fun.
Goodbye, Stackhurst.
Goodbye, old man. Give my regards to the doctor.
Fashionable couple, a young gentleman, young Gentleman's gentleman.
An elegant young couple. I've seen them in the village, but do not know their names. I feel it is likely they moved to the seaside for the good of his health. He's been unwell in the last few years. I won't bother them.
What about the young gentleman and the young gentleman's gentleman?
This fellow is clearly deeply intelligent. Why he seems to be employed as a valet when he could be running the country is an interesting conundrum. Well, I can only deduce that he must be very fond of his employer. This stylish young gentleman has a very fastidious valet, with whom he has minor disagreements regarding sartorial matters. I have a feeling I would find him unintelligible. Young people today talk such nonsense. Tempting. I imagine he would give quite engaging conversation, but I do not have time at the present.
All right, Professor Ritchie.
She is young, I would say around 20, very muscular, perhaps of Italian descent. She has the people enthralled.
Wonderful.
Roll up! See the eighth wonder of the world, a real-life mermaid!
Who are you?
Professor P.P. Ritchie, M.A., Oxon, RSI, award-winning archaeologist and adventurer.
How did you unknow this mermaid?
And how did you unearth this mermaid?
Through clever deductive reasoning based on my knowledge of geological processes.
Would you perhaps be able to name for me a geological process?
Photosynthesis.
I thought so. Where do you hold a professorship?
Shrewsbury College, Camford.
What awards have you won?
Oh, Victoria Cross, Nobel Peace Prize.
You have not. This is all very verifiable information. All I have to do is send a few telegrams.
Send away, my man, send away. I expect by the time you have your answers, I will have moved on with a pocket full of coins.
And no mobile phones yet.
You refuse to leave the beach.
Not until I have satisfied my public, sir.
Goodbye.
Toodle bib.
The features seemed simian to me, like a monkey.
Is that a monkey?
I think that the tail has been created from paper and glue.
Is that all? Do we have anything else here? Doesn't seem so. Can I just take it?
Excuse me, sir. You will have to pay extra if you want to touch the mermaid.
What if I just paid Veronica Anderson?
A journalist, I believe. Good morning. Are you enjoying your visit to our little town?
It's lovely. What a wonderful view of the sea. If only I'd come with my husband and not just for work.
I don't suppose you've heard any news from London?
None at all. I've been so busy. Haven't seen a newspaper in days.
All right, Mr. Weber. Tell me everything.
Our local village bobby, Constable Webber. He is frustrated that he never ascended the ranks and made sergeant. And he had egg for breakfast. What is happening here?
This here young lady is an archaeologist. She's made a tremendous discovery, some kind of fossilised mermaid. She's drawing in quite a crowd and offering a lecture about the discovery for those who will pay.
You must realise it is a scam.
More than my job's worth, Mr. Holmes. She's not doing anything illegal. I'm just here to keep the peace.
Have you asked the young lady to move?
Unless I find out she's done something illegal, I can't shift her, Mr. Holmes.
I have something to report.
What's that then?
I have nothing else to report. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Great conversation. All right, then we will have to find something to report. Taxidermist. Oh!
It may not be a coincidence. Yet many sideshows have similar oddities which were not procured by robbing a museum. I will retain both these pieces of information for now.
Okay.
No, I do not think that... I fail to see what...
I really thought that these two connected somehow. Well, these three have to be connected. But it seems like I'm not ready to make that connection yet. Do I have anything in my inventory? Oh, I need to come back home and examine the fur. I have a flower. What do I need the flower for? Right, you're coming back home? Hey, Toby the Third. Can I speak with him?
Watson, wake up. I have noticed something about you, dear fellow. Did you enjoy your breakfast of buttered toast?
It was wonderful. Martha bakes such delicious bread. I have crumbs in my moustache, don't I?
One or two.
He knows all our tricks.
What were you writing this morning?
You remember that business with Killer Evans in '02?
Rather vividly, yes. I recall that you were shot.
It was only a flesh wound, Holmes. Hardly left a scar. I am writing up the case as a story for publication. I know you are often dismissive of my literary efforts.
I do not say you're a poor writer, Watson. I simply wish you would not pander so much to popular taste.
Well, I would like to read you the draft this evening.
Very well, provided you will accept my honest critique.
Of course.
You planned to go for a walk along the cliffs, but changed your mind.
Holmes, you will never entirely convince me you cannot read minds.
There is no need to read minds when I can observe your boots.
I had planned to go for a walk, but I remembered the guillemots are fledging this time of year.
What is guillemots? A seabird with a narrow pointed bill, typically nesting on cliff ledges, I see.
They nest precariously on the cliffs, hundreds of feet above the ocean swell. The tiny fledgling's first flight always involves a terrible leap off the edge. Most of the time, they catch the knack of it before they hit the bottom. Most of the time. I didn't want to watch. I have seen too many young things die after being forced from the nest too soon.
I have no further deductions concerning Watson at the moment.
I have a surprise for you. I don't think I have a surprise yet.
How is your house and medical practice in London?
They have been all mothballs and dust sheets since I left for France. To tell you the truth, Holmes, I have not been back there.
How are you feeling, Watson?
Very well, thank you.
Your old war wound is not bothering you?
No. I think this warm weather is good for it. What about you, Holmes? Your arthritis?
Arthritis? Are you entirely sure I have arthritis?
Yes, I am. I am sorry, Holmes. I don't mean to act like a mother hen.
You cannot help being a doctor, Watson.
And you cannot help
Goodbye,
being
Watson.
old. This is actually quite sad. Wait, a mouse. Maybe I should catch a mouse. We have a cat and we have a mouse. Maybe that is something we need to do. But before doing anything, let me examine the fur.
Under the microscope, I can see that this is definitely a coarse animal hair. The structure of the medulla and cuticle of hair is highly specific to individual species. But I must confess, I've never made any specific study of the matter. It reminds me most of the hairs of the family Leporid, hares and rabbits, as one might find in a lady's hat. The follicle is much too thick, however.
And so what is that then?
Studying that with a microscope would reveal nothing of interest.
Oh, wait, we do have some jars here. But they're not interactable. Can I come inside?
My word.
Can?
For many years, this was a lumber room. I made it ready for Watson prior to his arrival by bringing out the few belongings of his I retained from our Baker Street days. Clearly, he has added to the nest the items he brought in his suitcase. Seeing all his personal effects here makes me feel as though I've stepped backwards through time.
But can we and should we snoop around?
Let me see what Watson has been writing. Aha! It is one of his memoirs about my cases, the affair of Professor Presbury. I've said for many years that he should publish on that matter, if only to dispel some of the ugly rumours which echoed through London society some 20 years ago. Now, what does he say about me? He's always overly flattering. Rarely does he spare me any blushes. The relations between Holmes and I those latter days were peculiar. He was a man of habits, narrow and concentrated habits, and I had become one of them. Oh dear. As an institution, I was like the violin, the shag tobacco, the old black pipe, the index books, and others perhaps less excusable. His remarks could hardly be said to be made to me. Many of them would have been as appropriately addressed to his bedstead. Oh, Watson, I am sorry. There are his service medals. There cannot be a more gallant and brave man than Watson, but he's never been awarded a medal for his gallantry or an order of chivalry. It's part of the reason that I have never accepted a knighthood. The offer never extended to him as well. That, and the idea of being referred to as Sir Sherlock, makes me shudder.
He got married.
I remember that day. I was convinced that it would be the end of all things, that with a beautiful young bride, Watson would forget the friend who he used to lodge with. It was nearly true. We did not see each other for a few months. It is only with the distance of years that I realize that was due to my own stubbornness.
What happened to her?
I much prefer this style of stethoscope to the sort that is more like a rigid tube. If I take it, Watson will wonder where it has gone.
The fez.
A Turkish hat made of red velvet. Watson believes it suits him. It does not.
Can you take it?
No, I refuse to wear it. Firstly, because Watson likes it and would not like me to interfere with his belongings. And secondly, because I would look very silly.
Looking good?
When did I begin to look so avuncular?
So many words, avuncular, what does it mean? Like an uncle. Right, I think it's time for us to leave from here. I don't assume it's appropriate to come and visit Martha's room, but we can try.
No use, it is locked.
Good woman Martha. Maybe could I give a flower to Martha?
This is a present for you.
Is it? Well, thank you, Mr. Holmes.
And that's it, I suppose? Oh! No, that doesn't make sense, but I can try anyway.
Podge, you have a good nose. Take the scent of this fur and track down where it came from. Or remain there sleeping if you wish. You are worse than Mycroft.
I could try Toby. I didn't realize that's what we're supposed to do here. Toby, my friend. I somehow just couldn't. I don't know why. I tried, but I didn't find it enjoyable reading about Sherlock Holmes, actually. Maybe I should try again. I think I was quite young back then, so maybe it's different now.
What say you, Toby? Can you sniff out the creature this fur belongs to?
Have? Sorry, old man. My nose is excellent, but I don't smell anything similar to this around here.
Seems he can't find a scent in this location. I should try somewhere else.
But then how can I bring Toby with me? Will he follow me? How do I make him follow me?
Now there, my boy, would you like a cuddle?
Not right now, Holmes. There might be a cat watching, and I'd never hear the end of it.
Ah, well, I suppose you never were a lapdog. He is a useful pup in many ways. An excellent guard, good in a scrap with an excellent nose. But you must be more specific.
I want him to follow me.
Hello, Master.
Oh!
Follow me, Toby.
Of course, Master. Will there be interesting things to smell? Cats to woof at?
Okay, so there are a couple of places I have in my mind. The beach is one of them. Then I want to go and see the cottages. Let's try it. Well, oh, here you are.
What say you, Toby? Can you sniff out the creature this fur belongs to?
Have? Sorry, old man. My nose is excellent, but I don't smell anything similar to this around here.
I thought maybe the creature was related to the fur. Then maybe it's something here in the cottages. Wait, I should come and visit the picnic spot. Maybe there's something interesting there. Let's drive through first here.
Now then, Toby, I would be much obliged if you could turn the attention of your prodigious nose to this scrap of fur. Are you able to lead me in the direction of the animal this is from?
Thing to smell? Thing to smell? Let me see now. Yes, I have the scent. View halloo! The hunt is on. Halloo! Halloo! This is the spot, Master. I can smell it here.
Huh.
I believe a naturalist would identify that it is not a species native to England.
What is it doing here then?
It has been taxidermized. The eyes are glass, and there is a place here where the skin is broken, revealing the wood wool inside. I will take this with me.
Huh. That is interesting. One moment. Is that a clue here on the blackboard? No, it is not. So I want to come and see the picnic place first. And then I will go and see the beach. Oh! What?
I feel the need to remind you that I am retired. I am a beekeeper. Grotesque happenings are not my personal concern. As an ordinary citizen, I should leave investigative matters to the police. Let's have a look, shall we?
Didn't expect... Wait, are you alive?
Sanjay Kumar, a young man of around 12 who lives in the village. We have not talked much, but I found him watching me while I tend to my bees.
He's definitely not alive, first of all, and he's not young, man, he's a child.
At a distance, with binoculars.
A book, a knife, a blood, some more blood, some glasses, some face, some everything. What deerstalker? There's some footprints as well. I didn't expect to see a murder here in this game. I just thought it would be like a peaceful happening, just getting ready for the picnic.
A familiar shade of red buckram, and I see the top of the first line of the title. The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes by Dr. John H. Watson, I believe.
Maybe this is a pretense.
I have several copies of my own at home. The knife has been sawn off at the end and blunted so that it may appear to be thrust into the boy's chest. It is a very old trick. My boss played it on me once. As for the blood, it is bright red paint.
Oh, this is so good to know. So he is very much alive.
He is very obviously breathing, quite heavily in fact.
I'm curious about the footprints.
A style of hat which is a good 40 years out of fashion. Strange thing for a young boy to wear, especially in such warm weather.
Alright, well, I'm happy to see that he's alive. Let's make some deductions, shall we?
Apparently, the boy has been inspired by tales of my adventures and has decided to fake his own murder. I wonder what explanation he will give for his actions.
Let's speak with him, I suppose.
Young man, can you hear me? You've been inspired by the work of my friend Watson to stage your own murder. Might I ask why?
But have you solved the mystery? Do you know who murdered me?
You have not been murdered.
But if I had been, do you know who did it? I thought you'd look at the footprints.
Me too, to be honest.
Why are you wearing that hat?
Well, because I really admire you, and it's like yours. Your famous hat.
I was not aware that I had a famous hat.
But of course you do. You wear a deerstalker all the time.
I may have worn one on a countryside excursion when they were fashionable, but I would hardly say that I wore one all the time.
Oh.
I refuse to play along with this ridiculous game. You may think it is amusing to play at murder, but I do not agree. What if your mother had found your grim tableau? How would she have felt?
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Holmes.
I'm afraid you made several elementary errors in your scheme. In future, you may want to add a slight amount of blue dye to your fake blood, and perhaps cornflour to make it more viscous. You should have become more adept at hiding your breathing and found some way to prevent me getting close to you. I am no doctor, and my eyesight is poor, but at close quarters, I can tell a healthy boy from a corpse.
Oh, right. Of course. I've been stupid, haven't I?
Somewhat short-sighted.
Somewhat short-sighted, perhaps.
I'm... sorry, Mr. Holmes. I'm not clever like you are.
Now I feel bad.
Well, that is not unusual. It is not kind to pretend to be dead or dying.
But you pretended to be dead in the empty house. Even Dr. Watson didn't know you were actually alive.
Yes, to my shame.
And you pretended to be dying in the adventure of the dying detective. Watson thought you were going to die of a horrible tropical disease.
It seemed necessary at the time.
And you exaggerated your injuries in the illustrious client. When he heard, Watson ran to Baker Street, scared you had died. And you faked having a fainting fit in the Reigate Squires. You'd been ill before that, so Watson thought you'd relapsed. And you faked having a sprained ankle in the Priory School.
Feeling guilty yet?
I have done many things in my life which I regret, and which you should not try to emulate. Besides, Watson exaggerates sometimes.
You mean it didn't really happen like that?
Watson wrote them as stories for entertainment, not factual accounts.
Oh. Of course. I mean, I knew that. I'm sorry I bothered you, Mr. Holmes.
I have a new hypothesis. That I am a nasty, misanthropic old man who breaks young boys' dreams. I suppose now I shall have to find a way to cheer the lad up. It is the right thing to do, but also that his mother will let me have some elderflower cordial.
But what will hitch him up? I need to check the taxidermy specimen. Wait, where's my dog? Suspicious footprints, finally.
They are very light, shallow footprints for the size. The gait is strange, without much weight on the heel. Use it how precise? A raucous crowd is utterly ruining both the pleasant view and the peaceful atmosphere.
So we definitely need to remove them.
Calling down to them will not work. I'm too far away.
You could try. This is actually such a nice view. It's getting warmer. It's spring now. So I probably should go somewhere where we have beaches, where we have cliffs and stuff. That is a great idea. We'll do that. So I have been everywhere, right? So, well, I need to see probably Violet about her sister's dead husband that isn't dead. And maybe I need to come back to the beach again. Because this has to be related somehow to... Oh! No, wait, I don't know actually.
I'm not.
Any idea what I need to do with this?
A large taxidermied rodent. An exotic creature not native to these isles.
Oh, wait. Should I?
This is a vital clue in the London Museum robbery.
Yes?
If you say so, sir.
Okay. Isn't interested.
This is a vital clue in the London Museum robbery.
Yes.
I don't know. This is a very interesting investigation indeed. Oh, Toby's still here.
Yes! I found that! I found it!
Great job, Toby.
Oh, you're a good boy.
Woof, woof! Well, naturally. And I think you're a good human, Master. Especially when you give me bones. It's a pity that for all your intelligence, you can't understand me.
Follow me, Toby.
Of course, Master.
But Sanjay isn't here.
Behold, a dead rodent.
Mr. Holmes, I buried that. I buried that in my own garden. Did you dig it up?
Why did you bury that?
Perhaps.
So you've stole... No, you didn't. I don't believe that you were the one who actually stole that from the museum. But then what happened to it?
Mr. Holmes, my boy is very upset with you.
We had a misunderstanding. I will make it right. Where is young Sanjay now?
I don't know. He often goes to the land around the school, on the cliff tops when he is upset. And he was very upset, Mr. Holmes.
I must apologize for upsetting your son.
It is not me you must apologize to, Mr. Holmes.
Goodbye, Mrs.
Then there is this door. Oh wait, I have a lock pick. Should I maybe pick the lock on Martha's door? Oh! Wait a second.
While I have been known to commit acts which are not strictly within the law, I only do so after significant consideration. I feel that my investigation has not yet reached a climax which necessitates this action. I must have more data.
Okay. But we are on the right track, it seems like.
What do you want?
What do you think of Fulworth?
It's a fine place. Very quiet. The kind of place where folks leave a man alone. Goodbye.
He is very suspicious.
Such impeccable manners. A gentleman indeed.
So I will try go see Violet. Oh wait, should I speak with him first?
Hello.
And who might you be?
Ruffles the Clown at your service. Honk honk. Sorry for having to say honk honk. I used to have a little horn, but I've lost it. So now I just say honk honk in a cheerful sort of way. Honk honk.
I see. I am Mr. Holmes, a beekeeper. Do you need me to find your horn?
Oh? No, why the dickens would I want to send a stranger off to find something I've lost? Seems a bit impolite. Besides, I know where it is.
I thought you said you'd lost it.
I lost it in a game of cards in Newcastle.
Ah. You were at the front in the war, I understand.
War? No. Ruffles the Clown doesn't know about such things. I tell you, would you like to see me trip over into a custard tart?
Not particularly. It is unusual for a clown to wear an eye patch.
Clowns wear all kinds of silly things. Beep, beep.
Beep, beep. Beep, beep. How goes your clown?
Very well, thank you, sir.
I believe you are the father of a little girl.
A little girl? No, not I. Ruffles the Clown loves all children, but he doesn't have one of his own.
He refuses to acknowledge it, or is unable. Perhaps if presented with some more concrete evidence. Goodbye.
Goodbye, sir.
Do I have any evidence on me? No, I don't believe so. Can I take the photo with me?
Miss Hunter, may I take this photograph? It is for a very good cause, and it will be returned unharmed.
To anyone else, Mr. Holmes, I would say no. You, however, have earned my trust. You may take it.
That is wonderful. Should I speak with her?
Miss Hunter?
No.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Here we are. I brought a photo to you of you, your wife, and your little girl.
What's that? This is... Where did you get this?
You are the soldier in the photograph, I believe.
Yes. And the woman is my wife, Jane. And the little girl, my daughter, Matilda. I thought this was lost.
What happened to your family?
I was a prisoner of war for a time before being sent back to England. I discovered that I had been labelled missing in action before formally being presumed to be dead. I rushed back to our little cottage. I expected to embrace Jane at the door and for everything to be set right. Foolish, I suppose.
Perhaps. But it is a sentiment I understand all too well. She was not there?
No. The house was empty. I asked neighbours and they told me she had died and that my daughter had been taken away to live with my wife's sister, Miss Violet Hunter.
And now you're here in this same village and you don't know about that?
I thought myself damaged before. But with that news, I fell apart utterly.
You did not go to visit Miss Hunter to let her know that you live?
No, Mr. Holmes, I was... unwell. It's shameful. I thought that little Tilda would be better with a heroic memory for a father than a broken half-man.
Why did you become a clown?
Firstly, because becoming someone else has helped me to recover. Raffles the clown isn't a widower. He has never seen war or known grief. When I become him, I set all that aside for a time and gain back the joy and wonder of childhood. Secondly, it is a way for me to help others by bringing them joy. When I can make someone laugh and forget their troubles for a time, I think it is worth being here.
I know your daughter.
You know my Tilda?
Yes. She lives here in the village with her Aunt Violet. She is a bright girl and a budding naturalist.
She's happy? And loved?
Certainly.
I don't know what to do. It is wonderful to know she is well, but would she be better off with me in her life? I let her think I was dead all these years.
I think you should tell her. It would mean a great deal for her to have you back in her life.
What if she cannot forgive me for letting her think I was dead all these years? What if she thinks I am a bad father?
Then at least you have given her the ability to make that choice. Speaking as someone with extensive experience of human nature, and Miss Tilda in particular, I think she will both forgive you and love you as you are.
Where can I find her?
Miss Violet Hunter's house is just off the market square. Miss Tilda you may find anywhere where there are interesting creatures to be studied.
I'll go to her after my performance. A little girl. My little girl. May I keep the photograph?
Under the circumstances, perhaps you should.
Maybe I should buy another flower.
Flowers! Love
May I buy...
that you may, sir.
I gave one to Martha. Maybe I will give that one to someone else. Right, I wanted to see Tilda again. Hey, Sanjay's here. I wanted to offer you the taxidermy specimen.
What do you make of this, Miss Tilda?
Is that a nutria? It's a nutria! The nutria is my absolute favourite large herbivorous semi-aquatic South American rodent.
You may consider it to be yours.
Mr. Holmes, thank you. Thank you. This is the nicest present anyone has ever given me.
This is so wonderful, now I can take it.
As per our bargain, you will permit me to take this jam jar?
Yes, Mr. Holmes. I can go newt fishing another time.
Perfect. Should I clean it first? About Sanjay, I have a flower and I have some fur. I have some... Would you want to have my lock-picking tools?
I could teach you to pick locks. It is an important life skill. Sanjay, are you quite well?
Yes, just... I think I'm going to cry a little bit out of excitement.
So, did he forgive us or not?
I wanted to apologize to you, Sanjay. You put a great deal of thought and effort into staging your murder on the cliff tops for my benefit, and I was not appreciative.
Oh, that's all right, Mr. Holmes. I'm not upset anymore.
You're not?
No. See, I thought about it, and it's just like what you said to Watson in The Adventure of the Solitary Cyclist.
What precisely did I say to Watson?
You mean you don't remember?
I have said a great deal of things to Watson over the past 5 decades.
You sent him off to do some investigating on his own, and when he got back, he was hoping you'd congratulate him on doing so well, but instead you said he'd done remarkably badly, and he was sad.
Oh, yes. I suppose perhaps I did do that.
The other reason I'm excited is that I've got a proper case to solve now, not a made-up one.
Tell me about this real mystery you've discovered.
My cat has been catnapped.
Not Kalu! She's my favourite member of the species Felis catus.
She's missing.
No, stolen.
Why do you think the cat was stolen?
Well, you know that old house next to us? It has been empty for years. But last week, a strange man started living there.
He's very strange indeed, very suspicious.
My mum tried to bring him a pie as a welcome to the village, but he was really cold and rude to her. Then, he came around yesterday, acting really polite, asking if he could buy our cat. When Mum said no, that she is our special pet, he got really mean and angry again. I think he stole Kalu as revenge.
Can you describe the cat?
Her name is Kalu. She's small and white.
She's also really soft and her toes are pink. Don't forget that.
She's the best mouser in the world. 2 days ago, she dragged a giant dead rat into our house. Absolutely enormous. As big as she is.
Ah, and that is Nutria, the one that his mother buried in the garden, and the one that we just gave to Tilda, and she's playing with it.
Mum had to bury it in front of the house.
Did she indeed? Interesting.
It's a bit too late because... Oh, maybe... No, it is not too late because even though I gave the specimen to Tilda, I still have ability to make my deductions. And that will help me to access the house, to lockpick the gate.
I will help you find your cat.
Really? Does that mean... Am I your client?
I suppose so.
I am Sherlock Holmes's client.
Don't shout, Sanjay. You'll scare away my newts.
Goodbye, Sanjay.
Goodbye, sir.
This is so adorable. Okay, so now I have my gem jar. Now I need to get back to my bee farm and I will get some honey and then I win a prize and then I will end this part there. If I win the prize, of course. I hope I will. That is the plan anyway. Yes, so I've got my honey. Yes, I will have to end this part anyway because my workday starts soon. I'm a morning person, so very often I just enjoy doing some playing and recording in the morning. Right, so how about my wonderful honey?
Here you are, Mrs. Whitlock. The finest honey in the county. Now, how long until the judging? I am rather anxious to receive the hamper of picnic food.
Oh dear, Mr. Holmes. I'm afraid everything has gone wrong. Mrs. Duffy has been kidnapped.
Ah,
What do you mean, ah? A woman has been kidnapped. You are Sherlock Holmes, aren't you? You must help her. It is your patriotic duty. For king, for country, for detective fiction.
I suppose I'd better see what I can do.
Huh. Everything just doesn't go according to plan. Okay. Well, first of all, who is Mrs. Duffy? That is not the question that you can ask.
What makes you believe that Mrs. Duffy has been kidnapped?
I was just talking to Mrs. Barry. Then I turned round, and this note was pinned to a prize marrow.
Mrs. Duffy is unable to attend judging the fate today. Apologies. She could not attend and sent her apologies. What is so strange about that?
But why can she not attend? Judging our fate is such a treat. If she is ill or indisposed, why deliver her message in such a strange way? Who placed the note there?
Well, I admit that there may be some points of interest in the matter. When did you see Mrs. Duffy last?
I haven't seen her at all. I don't even know what she looks like.
What will you do if Mrs. Duffy does not come back?
I'm not certain. I suppose I'd have to find some other person of note to judge the fate instead.
If the need is dire, I suppose I could step in. My fame is not what it was, but I was quite notable in my time, thanks to the illumination of my biographer.
Oh, would you, Mr. Holmes? Of course, if you are the judge, you'll have to retract your entry from the honey competition.
What? But I am able to be objective about the situation. I will award the prize to the best honey, be it my own or someone else's.
I'm sure, Mr. Holmes. However, paragraph 8, subsection D of the Fate Rules makes this very clear. The judge cannot enter the competition.
I suppose I will simply have to hope I can find Mrs. Drusilla Duffy then. My friend, Dr. Watson, could judge your fate. He is a best-selling writer and a celebrity in his own right. And if he is judge, I can enter my honey and win the picnic hamper.
I'm afraid not, Mr. Holmes. Paragraph 8, subsection E of the Fate Rules says that the judge's household cannot enter either.
Household? He's at least staying with me temporarily. At least that seems to be his plan. I have hopes. Very well, then I will find another solution. Goodbye, Mrs. Whitlock.
This is so fun. Okay, I'm ending the spot here. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Have a nice day, night, morning. Bye bye.